From LALATE News Headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big Thursday morning on LALATE with incredible details about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 today. In this recording, we go over that monthly stimulus check the Democrats want you to have. We'll be going over the routing times and the calendar that we all have in front of us, and we'll be going over what the president's doing today and the breaking news across the board. Then we cut to this stimulus that heats up this fall and has the incredible backing news of the Fed chair, Jay Powell, saying that the benefits lift, suggesting that the benefits lift in December would be astronomical. We have all big news about that as well, with additionally a fifth stimulus check. And then in the middle of the recording, we go over the thousands of dollars that viewers continue to get. Viewers all yesterday were getting $5,000, $10,000, $12,000. Several viewers getting over $10,000. Today's your day. I'll be going over how you can get this big money on a big Thursday. The weekend's almost here. We're going to get all this incredible money. It's starting right now, and it's starting on Mornings LALATE. Congratulations, you made it to the weekend and almost one day away. Almost there, one day away from the weekend. The sun is coming in today. Just notice there's a lot of sun here in Southern California. Wasn't a few minutes ago, but it's still relatively cool, thank goodness. Hope the weather is good where you are. Tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. Jump in the live chat right now. In this fourth stimulus check update of 2021, we go over a lot of breaking details happening new this morning. We'll be going over how much those Democrats want you to have for the fourth stimulus check, when they want you to have it. We'll be going over what the president's doing today and what Chuck and Nancy are doing as well with that July 4th date. Then we cut to the fifth stimulus, which heats up this fall. And Jay Powell's comments are absolutely incredible because he now says that inflation will reach its spike right when they apply your benefits. Benchmark? OMG. I have that wonderful news and the additional fifth stimulus check coming up in the second half of this video. And then we cut to the thousands of dollars the viewers are getting right now. It was $5,000, $6,000 2 weeks ago. Yesterday it was $12,000. The day before that was $10,000. You're killing it. We'll go over how you can get this money as well in this big morning's broadcast. And this is LALATE, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel, live in America in the morning with this show, followed by morning's crypto coming up next. And then I'm back with you at noontime. And then in the afternoon, taped. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year. Next stop, 1 million. And thank you so much dearly for making the last few days our biggest subscriber days of growth in several weeks. So subscribe. Also, like this video. If you like the video, it delivers a nice facial scrub. I don't know, that's what I heard. And consider becoming a member. Let's get right into that fourth stimulus and the details unfolding today. The fourth stimulus has both a monthly stimulus check from the Democrats and also a monthly stimulus check from the House members. We'll be explaining how the House versus Senate approaches are slightly different. Both provide a monthly stimulus check, but the number of checks and the amount of the checks are different. Here we go. House provides in their bill provides a monthly stimulus check for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. Senators in their proposal provides a stimulus check from now to December. Let's look at the monthly payouts. Here we go. House bill from Jalopal, $1,000 a month after the first month, which is $2,000. Senate proposal, an amount unknown, but word on the street is the senators want to pay you this. Wow, now that's deliciousness. $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000. Or $1,400 a month over 6 months, $8,400. That is per person. That is so savory. Let's go back to one issue at hand, though, is this. House bill plus 1 year, well, there may be a twist to that. If you're on the live chat just after 9 a.m., but get ready to vote, House or Senate, and tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. They may claim the pandemic's over, those House members, which would reduce the pandemic plus 1 year to just 1 year of stimulus checks. How many checks would that be? Well, there's 12 months in a year. That would be $13,000, which would pay you $13,000 over a year compared to the senators over 6 months. And this, I think you have an opinion. I think you have an opinion. Vote in the live chat right now. Vote House or Senate. House or Senate, tell me where you're tuning in from and how the weather is. I want to see you voting. House or Senate. Who gets his fourth stimulus check? You do. The Democrats want everyone who got a third stimulus check to get a fourth stimulus check. So single individuals, 75,000 or less, Democrats would give you a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, 150,000 or less, Democrats would give you a fourth stimulus check. Double it. Family of four, Democrats would give you a fourth stimulus check. Quadruple it. And if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, and veterans benefits, Democrats would give you a fourth stimulus check. The fourth stimulus check is not taxable, so it is not income and it's not taxable. And the fourth stimulus check would come monthly. It would not come in waves because it's not a waivable check. So if you're at the salad bar for lunch today and you see that check trying to toss the salad, say, "Hey, check, how you doing? How's that Caesar salad for you?" It didn't respond. Rude check. Hope you toss your own salad. It's not a waivable check. That's why the check can't wave at you, but it can toss its salad. Not quite clear why it can, but the check is not a waivable check. So there you go. The Democrats represent you and get the first stimulus check in the month of July for the month of July, especially if you're a vegetarian. And then if you and the month of August, for the month of August, meat eaters will be getting your check later. Okay. Then the final vote would come in the month of, the final vote would come by July 4th. Chuck and Nancy confirms. And there you go. That is your first of three parts of your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 in this video. In the second part, we go over what happened, what is happening at the White House right now with your fourth stimulus today. What happened on Wall Street this morning? The new jobless numbers was released. The new jobless numbers was released this morning. Do you think it was bad or worse? Jump in the live chat right now and vote which one you think it is. Do you think the jobless numbers were bad or better? And then we cut to fifth stimulus. But let's get a preview of the second half of this video, which is fifth stimulus. Boy. Jay Powell, your head of the Federal Reserve, delivered us incredibly great news as he now said that the inflation rate will be the highest point in December, which is when the benchmark is applied for your benefits of the new benefit system they're devising under fifth stimulus. I'll go over all those incredible details, plus that fifth stimulus check that heats up this fall. It's coming up in the second half of this video. Stay tuned. But let's get some money. And boy, I gotta praise you. If yesterday you did not catch afternoons or evenings LA, it was on fire. Viewers were no longer revealing that they got $5,000 or $6,000 like they had revealed the last 2 weeks. Now they were revealing they were getting $10,000, $11,000, $12,000. What's going on? Get a pen and paper ready, and I'm going to go over all the incredible details because it's your turn to get this money as well. And if it must be a Crayola crown, understand, I'm wearing Crayola blue today. Yeah, so there we go. I'm going to show you all where you get this incredible money, and that's what I do. This channel is not about tracking a check, but cashing checks. When third stimulus passed, I told viewers you were going to get a $1,400 stimulus check, sure. But I also told you I was going to be able to get you $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, and now viewers are getting it. And that's what I've been doing. I got people EIDL loans of $25 million in spring of last year, saving their businesses, their homes, and their employees' homes. But in fall of 2020, it was like now when we were waiting for second stimulus to pass, and people needed money during the holidays. So I got them $250,000 of this rent and utilities. I got Tyrone, for example, $15,000 for his family of four in Boston in December. It paid him rent all the way to almost March. So let's go over all this incredible money available right now. It's rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and also homeowners utilities just to start. The rent is about $5,000, 4 to 6 months of rent is what I've been saying. But yesterday we had two viewers get over $10,000 from this. Where do you get it? I'm going to show you different places you get the money from, but they all have different eligibility. So if one says no, reach out to the next. All right, you got that pen and paper ready and Crayola around? Here we go. You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, your state housing authority. The key words you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID or mortgage assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know because they won't know what you're talking about, like stimulus. They don't know that word. Or Nancy's fan club. They don't know that. They don't know those words. Fan club? I never heard. Have you heard of Chaz? I think they have the wrong number. Yeah, they don't know that. So congratulations also to Tim and Linda who got this big money as well. And now the next pot of money. And boy, last week one person got 5,000. Next week, the week before, one viewer got 6 to 7,000. What is it? It's Snap. Viewers have been killing this for months. Art got money for Snap, I believe. No, Art got rent and internet. But viewers have been getting Snap and other things as well. And what is it? It's money for food. How do you get it? Department of Agriculture. Reach out to Department of Agriculture. How much does it pay? A fortune. A family of 4 in Hawaii now gets upwards of $16,000 a year. Wow. Why so much money? Because of 2 wonderful executive orders. One from Biden and one from Trump that raises your benefits up 15% nationally between now and December. Lynn Glenn got it for herself, for her son, and her mom. Gail got it as well. And you want to get it right now as well. Wow, we're killing it. You're killing it. Everyone's killing it, except the check with the salad. $15,000 for rent, $60,000 for rent for a family of 4 in Hawaii, about $5,000, or in a couple of viewers' cases, $10,000 for rent. And we are only 11 minutes into this video. Well, I got more money for you right now. And it's money coming back from your states. The states have been ordered to return money back to you when they had overpaid you unemployment assistance due to computer error. Well, the federal government said, no, it's the citizens' money to keep. So you're getting that money back. One viewer got $5,000 from it. Where are you getting it? It's the account you have on file with your state's unemployment department. When are you getting it? Reach out to your state and tell them to track your check that's owed to you due to their computer error before, and tell them to track it with a computer that works this time. So there you go. And finally, our last pot of money, which is wonderful, and it's coming back from IRS. Margaret got it, and also Cod got it, and Michael got it. It's wonderful. Let me go over how much you're going to get, when you're going to get it, and how to track it. Yeah, so how much money is it? It's a lot. Fam, if you had $9,000 of unemployment assistance, you paid $5,000 in total taxes, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment assistance. You're getting back $4,000. Congratulations. Where? Direct deposit, if that's what you had on the tax return like COD did. Otherwise, in the mail. When? This month. Can you track it? Yeah, you can about 70% of the time. Go to irs.gov and do a transcript search. And you'll be shocked what this transcript search reveals. It'll reveal the tax return you filed, the taxes you paid. It will reveal Nancy's hair color. Not that you want to know it. It will reveal the ingredients to $12 ice cream, which are ironically the same ingredients as $1 ice cream. And then it'll also reveal the check you're getting back from IRS. And can we top that news? We can. And it's the second of our 3 big updates for stimulus starting right now. Well, yesterday, I explained a little more detail about how they get the bill to a final vote and the provisions that are needed to be done. Let me go over those details as we look at the calendar and understand July 4th is around the corner. It's important to understand that when you're doing a reconciliation, you have 2 bills. You have the procedural bill and you have the substantive bill. The substantive bill doesn't exist yet. The procedural bill doesn't exist yet. How do they make the substantive bill? The substantive bill is the bill that you really are focused on. That is the bill that has the money in it. How do they make a substantive bill? Well, the substantive bill is made by taking parts of it and having it delegated, or the subject matter, taking the subject matters of the bill, of what would be the bill, and sending it to subcommittees in the House to say, subcommittee, you deal with that subject matter. You deal with that subject matter. And you write the part that will be your subject matter. Ultimately, they write it, and it becomes what would be anywhere from 10 pages to 100 plus pages. And that becomes their part of the bill in the subcommittee. What are they currently doing right now? They're currently writing those pages in those subcommittees, what they call marking it up. Now, it's not a bill in a format when it's in the subcommittee. It's just part of something that would eventually become a bill. Do they have any subcommittee agreements on what are in those subcommittee parts yet? Here's what you need to know. If you've been with me for a year, you see how this unfolds. They generally don't tell you a lot. They generally don't tell you a lot of what they're doing. Some committees, like House Ways and Means, is pretty good that when they're finished approving something, they say, we approved it, it's done, here you go. But until they even get to that point, they don't often tell you how far along they are. They also, sometimes when they're done with it, they don't tell you they're done with it. They don't tell the public, hi, here's a press release. We just finished the 100 pages. Here's a copy for you. They don't do it that way. They're not that transparent. Yeah, it's our country, and yet they're not that transparent. So they could be done in one subcommittee right today with their section of what would eventually become the bill, and we may not even know it. That's how they operate. Finally, when all the subcommittees are done with their parts of the bill, they've called it for a vote, and all those parts have been approved in their subcommittees. They send it to Nancy, Speaker of the House, and she combines it into the whole thing, which becomes the bill, the House bill with an H on it. And that could be about 1,000 pages. 10 committees with 100 pages each, so that's 1,000 pages. Then we have a bill. Now, that's not the final bill, because the bill can get revised when it gets to the Senate, but that is a bill. So we're not even anywhere there. Now, can they do these things very, very fast? They can. Could they be much further along than we know? Absolutely. Do they not give us updates as they go along? They never do. They just don't. Do they tell each other? They don't. They don't. And congressional leaders have said this all over the place. Bernie Sanders said on Sunday. AOC said all last year. They just don't tell you what they're doing until they're done. So there you go. What's important to understand is that Chuck Schumer, a majority leader of the Senate, and Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, have said no less than probably, I would say, 12 to 15 times that the final fourth stimulus package vote would be no later than July 4th. That means that everything would be done by July 4th. That doesn't mean that a subcommittee is by July 4th. It doesn't mean the House is by July 4th. It means everything will be done by July 4th. Now, they can do these little parts very quickly for voting. I'm going to explain that in the third part of this video. But there you go. We're currently under recon, and we're going to finality. In the third part of this video, I'll also be going over what the president is doing today as well. The day started, however, with the new jobless claims number. And what did it reveal? It was bad. If you voted in the live chat and said the number was bad, you voted correctly. The number was bad, signaling we need for stimulus. So how did we get to this spot? Well, Chuck Schumer, the Friday before Memorial Day weekend, said, "Here we go. We are currently under recon. We will finish by July 4th." And Chuck also says that the bill will pass on July 4th. Now remember, that's Chuck Schumer talking. That's Chuck Schumer, old guy, D.C., New York. This is me. I'm younger guy, L.A. I'm not Chuck Schumer. So I'm not Chuck Schumer. I'm not telling you July 4th out of my mouth. I'm not in D.C. I'm not in that heat wave, arguing with those angry people. Chuck Schumer saying July 4th, not me. So there's always people that want me to be Chuck Schumer or me to be Nancy Pelosi. Thank you. My hair's a little bit better. So let's go over how we got to this spot. Jalapal and Rich and Chuck a letter saying, Chuck, call the vote. Call the vote. Now, who signed that letter? Well, 12 House Democrats. They're among the 100-plus House Democrats who had written the president a letter a week earlier saying, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Wow. Now, that's good. Can we top that? We can. When 7 days ago, 7 House Democrats wrote the president a letter saying, we're going to be writing fourth stimulus checks into the fourth stimulus package. Well, who are these people to say that? Now you understand a little bit more about what they do. They're on the House subcommittee that we just covered in this video that is responsible for writing stimulus checks. They wrote your first stimulus check, the second stimulus check, the third stimulus check, and they currently are marking up their part of what would be the fourth stimulus package by saying they're putting four stimulus checks in there. Remember, they say that, not me. I'm not writing the bill. I could write the bill, and I would have been done a few months ago if I had written your bill for you. They're writing the bill, not me. And then there we go. But are they done there yet? No. They say there's going to be a fifth stimulus check as well, and they're going to be put in the fifth stimulus package. Wow. Now, that's wonderful news. That's coming up later in this video. Can we top that? Yes. As 2 Saturdays ago, the president surprised everyone and anchored fourth stimulus to the finish line by getting an international agreement signed. That is absolutely wonderful. Let me explain what's at issue. Fourth stimulus is paid for by raising the U.S. corporate taxes. Now, U.S. corporate taxes was a concern for the president because he said, if I raise U.S. corporate taxes, businesses may move overseas where the taxes are cheaper. So he reached out to those other countries overseas and said, raise your taxes. And they said yes. And he said, tentatively. And he said, I like how this is going, staff. In December, let's go overseas and visit them for the holidays with Jill's favorite caramel corn and have them sign on the dotted line. Well, then he surprised us all, because 2 Saturdays ago, the president went overseas early, before forced stimulus, and got them to sign on the dotted line now. OMG. That anchors forced stimulus to the edge of the finish line, because now the provisions that the president was worried about for international taxes are covered in the international agreement. They're no longer needed in forced stimulus, making it easier for the legislative team to pass forced stimulus now. Wow, now that's wonderful news. And can we top that wonderful news? Yes. With Jalapal and Senator Brian Schatz, a progressive Democrat from Hawaii, their comments from just a few days ago. These comments are very important for what you're going to hear after the commercial break. So watch these comments very carefully. They said that the president has their back and they have the president's back. They say that the president has 2 progressive policies he wants in the forced stimulus. Otherwise, he will veto it. He wants in climate a progressive policy, and he wants the CARES economy, which refers to seniors in medicine. And the progressives say to the president, we have your back. We have it in there. We're taking it to the finish line. To which the president says, God bless you. I have your back. Whatever progressive policies you want in there, I have your back as well. And what progressive policies do they have in there? They represent, it's their progressive policies of stimulus checks. Wow, now that's wonderful news. Can we top that? And yes, it's the third part of your forced stimulus check update. With more breaking news, you see a lot of breaking news as extended morning's broadcast coming up after this commercial break. But also wonderful, the volunteers. The volunteers embody the true purple power spirit of this channel. And so if you've had problems getting the rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, or you haven't gotten any and you looked around and you're having problems finding it, don't worry. They're viewers just like you who have stepped forward to help you find that money so that you can be one of those viewers that are getting $5, $10, $15, $20,000. So you're not tracking a stimulus check, you're cashing all these checks. So how do you find the volunteers? Open the description of this video. Go down, you'll see the emoji of a house. Then next to it, it says community page. news.lalate.com/community. It sends you to the community page. There on the community page is some kitty cats. They're not your volunteers. They're just kitty cats. Oh, meow. Lower on the page are the volunteers. They're separated from Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Reach out to them. They cannot cook you a tostada. They cannot make you Nancy's $12 ice cream, but they can get you some rent, utilities, internet, and Snap. And I will be back in 60 seconds with you with exciting details you're going to hear for the first time still about forced stimulus and fifth stimulus in just 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. The toast is toast and the butter is buttering, and I'm here, you're here with the second half of our big morning's broadcast. Big exciting details still coming up you're going to hear for the first time on this extended morning's broadcast. You see there's a lot of breaking news this morning. Forced stimulus is heating up, and we'll go over more about the surprising developing details happening today about forced stimulus. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, and boy, Jay Powell gave us a really beautiful gift this week, and we'll explain why that's so wonderful. But first, subscribe. At 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button. The most comprehensive, accurate reporting there is. Also, like this video. If you like the video, it delivers you a pen and paper Crayola set. And consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Stay with this video. Right after this video, you'll see Mornings Crypto at 9:30 a.m. and then noontime at 11 a.m. Big updates there as well. Let's cut to the two items that are very important when we're looking at fifth stimulus. And actually, one of them is a fourth stimulus item. And that is Jay Powell's comments. Jay Powell, the head of Federal Reserve, spoke just days ago and said he will not be stopping his Fed stimulus. Wow. He said this economy needs Fed stimulus all the way to January 2022. Hello, that was the same date he has been saying for over a year. Every day that this channel has existed, I have said to you, he said he's not letting up on his stimulus of this economy until January 2022. He said that this week as well. This is huge because it gives all the reason for fourth stimulus and all the reason for fifth stimulus. So, wow, that is incredible, great news. Now, the second thing that is also fascinating is that Jay Powell had big updates about what's happening later this year. And he said that in December, the inflation rate will be its highest percent. OMG. More about that in a second. But first, let's go over two things you need to know about fifth stimulus. One, there will be a fifth stimulus check those Democrats represent. The House members have represented that they will be doing a fifth stimulus check. That would be for January of next year. It would go to vote in about November, December, and it would be set up in legislation being drafted around September to October. Number two, also great news, is the president has dedicated $1 billion to Social Security Administration. Why is this great? Because he's trying to ensure that you get checks going forward on time. This is third stimulus check debacle solution. Fourth, third stimulus checks didn't arrive on time for people on benefits, so he's trying to solve that problem. Fourth stimulus, fifth stimulus, and all your benefits checks going forward would now land on time if you're on benefits. Which brings us now to that benefits reform under fifth stimulus. Now, what else did Jay Powell say about this December? This is huge. He also said that the reason why inflation will be at its highest rate in December is because everything around December will be at its highest point of the year. The unemployment numbers will be its lowest number. The reemployment of the American worker will be its highest number. Jobs and businesses will be at its best level. And he says GDP will be its best number of the year. This is great news. In fact, it's not great news. It's absolutely wonderful news. Let me explain why it is when calculating out your fifth stimulus. And we're going to go over all the details starting right now. Fifth stimulus involves raising your benefit limits, then removing the asset limit, adding an inflationary benchmark, removing the income exclusion, and removing the marriage penalty. Let's go over how this works starting right now. First, you know that they're going to raise your benefits up one time. That's you if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits, SSA, multiple benefits, or Calcino benefits. Then they're going to apply a benchmark, and you understand that as well. And you understand the benchmark is applied in December for next year's benefits. You got that. And you understand that the benchmark's inflation. Pretty easy. And you understand that inflation is going to be a big number later this year. Also pretty easy. Well, we had been wondering about three real big factors. One, we have to hope they pass this bill. Two, we have to hope that the inflation rate is at its highest point in December. And number three, we have to hope for a good inflation number. Well, Jay Powell gave us number two of the three items. He said that we will see our largest inflation number when they apply your benefits. Wow, now this is earth-shattering great news. Let's go over how this works if, let's say, the inflation rate is 10%. Your inflation rate's going up, as Jay Powell says, and then it hits that hot spot, that highest spot in December, right when they apply your benchmark, and then it goes down. If it's 10%, for example, your benefits would raise up not just 10% next year, but a lifetime. Because you will get carried over with that highest inflation rate lifetime, even if the inflation rate drops in the future. It's wonderful news because your benefits only step up, they never step down. All right, what else? Well, they're going to remove also the asset cap dating back to a 1980s law. Says you can't work and that says you can't have more than $3,000 in hand. Now you'll be able to have some stimulus checks in your hand and maybe some Crayola crowns. They're going to remove the income cap dating back to a 1960s law. Says you can't work and also stay on benefits. And finally, they're going to remove the marriage penalty. You will no longer fear the marriage penalty and you'll be able to marry. Viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to marry and no longer fear any loss of benefits due to the marriage penalty. Love is going to win. And there you go. That is your fifth stimulus check update of 2021 today. But how did all those viewers in this channel today and last week and yesterday get all the money? $5, $10, $12,000. They became members. By becoming a member, and it appears at the top of the chat in the pinned comment, you get delivered to you daily a breakdown of the money that you are entitled to under third stimulus. When third stimulus was passed, we said, yeah, you're going to get a $14 stimulus check. But I told you, there's a lot more money than that stimulus check. $5, $10, $15, $20,000 I want you to get, and they're getting it. So consider becoming a member, because daily I deliver to you a breakdown of all the money in third stimulus that you can get, application-based. Fourth stimulus proposed, and also fifth stimulus. And there you go. All right, let's cut back now to the final part of your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 with breaking news across the board and a personal insertion of messaging as well. We all own a calendar, and we all can look at a calendar, and we all see where that July 4th date is from Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. And we all look at that calendar and see that July 4th date is very close. And if you've been a viewer with me since last year, you saw how these legislators dropped the ball and let the clock run out in July of 2020. So you certainly remember them doing that to us in 2020. Could they do it again in 2021? We hope they do not. So we've been watching that clock. There's still enough days. You're going to see in a second, I'm going to show you that the steps of the voting process can be done very quickly in a tight time frame. But certainly looking at the clock is a concern. When viewers talk about the subject of checks in or checks out or checks in, the bigger concern is that the whole thing gets done by the time clock, that the whole thing gets done by the time, because that's the concern at the moment, that it all gets done before the clock runs out. So what's the president doing today? I got to clarify for you what he's doing. I also have to give you a personal message of how it looks on the other side. The president today will be at the White House having several of those people, I don't want to call them bipartisan group because they're not a bipartisan group, that's what they call themselves, meeting with him. And when they walk in, he's likely going to start by the first question of, how are you going to pay for it? And their response will be, which it is, I don't know. We haven't thought about that yet. Now, you look at the calendar. You haven't figured out how to pay for $1 billion or $1 trillion or, a gazillion dollars, and we have a few days left. That's the first thing you do. You don't start doing this, 2 days with the clock about to run out. That's the hardest part of the bill. That's the biggest issue of contention. How do you pay for it? So he's going to say that right off the bat. Now, what you also need to know is that the president has publicly made very clear in this administration that he will not be holding the hands or pushing the backs of Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer, that he's letting them do legislation, as they are, because they're legislators, not him. But he's also not going to be heavy-handed, meaning like holding Chuck's hand, say, Chuck, do this, and Nancy, do that. He specifically said, I'm not going to do it. I'm leaving it up to them. So then how do we get our updates about what's really going on? Here's what you need to know, is that from a reporter's perspective, from a viewer's perspective, from a citizen's perspective, if you try to go to that subcommittee and figure out how far along is that subcommittee at the moment, now that I'm looking at the calendar, have they called the vote on the subcommittee? Some committees could have called the vote already. We don't even know because they don't tell you. They traditionally don't tell us. So we may not know if they've already called the vote in their subcommittee, that they've already finished writing up something in their subcommittee. In the case of House Ways and Means, they generally do release a press release when they are finished at the subcommittee level. But a lot of the other subcommittees under second stimulus never told us. They were just done. And we're like, when were you done? We never knew you were done. So it causes it's difficult to know how far along they are in the process as a viewer and as a citizen, and also as a reporter trying to tell you how far along individual subcommittees are. It's also very important to understand the following. There's not a lot of very good news publications that have reporters in DC who are interviewing subcommittee House members on a regular basis because it's not a very big subject matter. And they don't give you, there's not a lot of news outlets for that. So we don't know what a particular subcommittee is doing unless we rely upon one or two news outlets. One of them that's pretty good on telling us what's going on, unfortunately, has become very, very, very conservative. So every sentence is less information and more about adverbs and adjectives. Here's how it's currently reading. You try to hear if a subcommittee has done something, and the article reads, Jalapal's angry at the president. The president's angry at Jalapal. And then the next sentence is, the progressives are angry at Jalapal. The progressives are angry. Can you just tell me what's going on? I don't need to hear what people are angry and upset at people. Just tell me what's going on. And that's sort of the problem, is that they don't give you a lot of detail as to what is specifically happening in the individual parts. So now as we look at the calendar, it's important to note that we all have a calendar. We all see the calendar in front of us. And we also remember what they did to us with running the clock out in July of last year. Could they run out the clock again? Chuck and Nancy have made very adamant they will be done with the recon by July 4th. But here we go. Let's go over the 9 voting steps. The 9 voting steps is 9 steps. But when you're looking at the procedural steps, many of these can be done in just a day or 2 days. They can be combined. The substantive steps can't be done that quickly. And the 2-day vote-a-rama does require 2 days. So if you're looking at how tightly you can compress 9 steps into how many days, there's certainly enough time. The question is, at what time does the clock run out? Let's go over those 9 voting steps right now together. Step 1 is all the procedural steps. Step 1, the House procedural bill is called for a vote in the subcommittee. Then House floor votes on the procedural bill. Step 3, the Senate votes on the procedural bill. Step 4, the President signs a procedural bill into law. All right, at that point, the procedural bill, which is a separate bill, of the recon has passed into law. Time to go do the substantive bill, which we are all focused on. At step 5 and step 7 and 8 are the critical steps. Step 5, each of those subcommittees finish drafting their pages of what would eventually be the bill and calls them for a vote. And they pass whatever they pass in those subcommittees. In the House Ways and Means Committee, they're currently marking up that language, and they are the people that would do the monthly stimulus check. They may put it in there. They may end up not putting it in there. After all those subcommittees have called their votes and have passed the pages that would eventually become part of the bill, they send that to Nancy. Let's say it's 10 committees with 100 pages each. It would be combined then into one big bill. There's actually a bill, a 1,000-page bill made up of 10 pages done in subcommittees from 10 subcommittees, for example, a 1,000-page bill. It has an H on it. It's a House of Representatives bill. At that point, the House floor votes on the House bill. Then it goes over to the Senate. The Senate is literally almost like a redo. It's almost like a redo because the senators can literally go right back and butcher it to death, or absolutely put it on a cake platter and say, I love it, I'm not going to touch it. So there's a 2-day vote-a-rama. That 2-day vote-a-rama has 3 possibilities. 1, those senators on the first possibility could receive a House bill with no stimulus checks and can add it. Possibility 2, the senators receive a House bill with stimulus checks in there and love it and leave it alone. Or possibility 3, they receive a bill with stimulus checks from the House but still want to amend it. And then finally, step 9, the president signs into law. And there you go. 9 steps, but we got our calendar in front of us. We're very clear that the whole calendar is very close. It's very tight. These are the dates that they represent. I'm not there. They are there. They are writing the bill. They make the representations. They make the indications of the timeline. And it's important to note that It has to go by recon because any other way is not going to work because there's no pay-fors and it doesn't have the support of the progressives and the Democrats. All right, so now let's go to Purple Power Push. The big exciting push to end with is that you need to really go to those Twitter accounts of those legislators, House Democrats, Senate Democrats, House Progressives, Senate Progressives, also the progressive handles of the caucus, like the House Progressive Caucus, and their chair and their vice chair. Also, the House Ways and Means has their own Twitter account, and Richard Neal has his own Twitter account. So tag the members of those House Ways and Means Committee. It's important to understand that this sort of starting to feel a little bit like second stimulus, where we're really up against a timeline and it's time to really push to get it done and get it done right. And finally, if you don't use internet, then use the telephone. Pick up the telephone, call your legislators the old-fashioned way. And with that, thank you for joining me on a big morning's extended broadcast. I told you there's a lot of breaking news. I'll have more about this at 11 a.m. on noontime. So join me for that big broadcast. But up next is Morning's Crypto. Crypto has stabilized, but has it rebounded? I'll explain all those details for you coming up next in 5 minutes. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record for a reason. Fastest growing community and viewers are getting big money. I want you to get that big money as well. Like this video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member so you get delivered to you daily all the information you need to know to get that thousands of dollars. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful morning, and I'll see you next on Morning's Crypto.